Hey everybody, I wanted to talk today. Welcome to my Live at 2, and we're going to talk today about sleep and ways to get good sleep. And one of the things that I wanted to drill down on is different kinds of foods that can negatively affect our sleep, but also positively affect our sleep. Now, we all know sleep is really important because if we don't get enough sleep, it can affect us mentally and physically. We can be, physically exhausted. We can start aching, having aches and pains. We can get moodiness, sluggish, have cognitive problems like inability to focus or concentrate. So sleep is pretty vital to being able to enjoy life, right? So I'm going to focus first on foods that you should avoid before going to bed, or sometimes 2 to 3 hours before going to bed, and why. So first up is salty foods. I know, they're snack items, right? What do you want to do most? You're sitting around chomping on your favorite snack. It's usually salty. However, this is a food that you do not want to eat more than 2 to 3 hours before your bedtime because of all the salt. It can dehydrate you, which means then your body's going to go into this water retention mode, and that's going to contribute to disruptive or superficial sleep. So it's not saying you can't have snack foods, just don't have it 2 to 3 hours before, any sooner than that. Okay, coffee and nicotine. I know y'all know that coffee is a stimulant, and most likely you're not going to drink it right before you go to bed. However, coffee and nicotine, hopefully you're not, we all know smoking's not the best, but coffee and nicotine are included in other items that we ingest. Like caffeine, for instance, can be in chocolate, teas, sodas, and other products. So it's crucial that you train yourself to read the labels. Any of those energy drinks, anything like that, any products that are meant to help keep you awake, look for those ingredients in it because they will keep you awake. The third food to avoid, spicy and acidic foods. And the reason you want to avoid them, there's a couple reasons. First, they could cause heartburn. And heartburn, when you lay down, is almost always going to get worse. So you don't want that right before you're going to bed. And I'm just going to throw in there, if you are getting heartburn, there's like a deeper issue going on, a deeper gut issue if it's a chronic thing for you. So you're going to want to drill down to that a little bit better. But the other thing is that spicy foods and acidic foods, they will raise, especially spicy foods, they will raise your body temperature. It increases your body temperature. This then requires high levels of energy to digest it. Now, I don't know about you, but high levels of energy signal to me that I'm not calming down for sleep. My body is not calming down for sleep. It is still revved up and going strong. Okay, so you don't want that. A fourth thing that you're going to want to do is avoid sugars at night. And the reason for that is that sugars, I mean, I know at night we want our comfort foods like ice cream, right? Or that brownie. But these kinds of foods will spike the blood sugar or glucose levels. And then a few hours later, it's going to crash. That blood sugar is going to crash while you're sleeping. That is going to wake up your adrenal glands. It's going to stimulate your adrenal glands and wake it up so that it increases. It's like, hey, there's an emergency going on. There's an emergency. Send out the cortisol. And what does the cortisol do? It wakes up your body. So it's basically a stimulant. I mean, you might think, oh, this is so wonderful. I love this. It's basically going to end up being a stimulant in the long run. Okay. Fourth thing is dairy. And in particularly cheese and your preserved meats like ham, bacon, pepperoni, those kinds of things, because they are naturally high in tyramine, which is an amino acid. And tyramine causes, again, the adrenal glands to release cortisol, which causes alertness because cortisol is the fight or flight hormone. So if you've ever been in a fight or flight situation, you know you are not going to be sleeping. It's not a fun thing to be in. So no dairy, no sugar, no spicy foods, no caffeine, nicotine, no salty foods. One more thing. Alcohol. Many people like to have their nightcap before going to bed. And yes, initially it is a relaxer, but in reality, it's a stimulant. So yes, you may be drowsy at first, relax, you'll go to sleep, but as a stimulant, it's going to wake you up a few hours later during the night. Okay? So now we want to talk about some foods that we should eat to help us sleep. These are foods that either contain melatonin or are melatonin producing foods or stimulating foods. Cherries. I remember a few years ago the big thing was cherry juice to help you sleep. There was capsules, you could go buy it, pure cherry juice, and it actually contains melatonin. It contains actual melatonin to be able to, that's the hormone that you need to sleep with. So you can either eat the cherries or you can drink the juice. It's not like you need a lot of it, I don't think. The second food that will stimulate melatonin production is raw honey. So I would say make sure in all these things, like always organic is always best, or non-GMO, make sure you know where you're getting them. Same way with honey, raw honey, you want to make sure nothing's been sprayed around it. But not only does it stimulate melatonin, but it turns off orexin. And orexin is a chemical in our body that makes us feel alert and sharp. So what you can do is mix it in with a little warm water, maybe a little lemon juice, or maybe a little lemon essential oil, and drink it. It's very calming and can help put you to sleep. Bananas and almonds are both very high in magnesium. And magnesium is known to help relax muscles. It has a very relaxing effect on the body. And so it calms the body, calms the muscles, calms the body, and it helps to switch the body over from that adrenal cycle to the rest and digest cycle. And that's what you want. You don't want that adrenal cycle, the cortisol running, the fight or flight syndrome. That's going to keep you awake. You want the rest and digest cycle where the body is not using a lot of energy. The last item is turkey. Yeah, you know, when you've eaten a lot of turkey and you sit down and you're just like, oh, I gotta go to sleep. Well, there's a reason for that. It is very high in tryptophan. And tryptophan calms, balances the hormones, and it helps fight anxiety. Brown rice and fish also tend to be high in tryptophan. Now, I know a lot of people think milk, a warm glass of milk at night, is what's going to help you go to sleep. Yes, milk has tryptophan in it, but it's so minimal. It's not enough in it to really do the trick for most people. So, you know, I'm going to say that, but you know there's going to be an exception to the rule. But for most people, a glass of warm milk will not do the trick. It does not have enough tryptophan in it. So if you really want tryptophan, go for some brown rice, you know, a little bit of it, or turkey, something like that. Banana, just for other things to help calm the body down. So those are my food do's and don'ts for getting sleep. And hope you have a great rest of the day. Go be awesome.